homestand continues tonight with the last visit of the year and the last game of this 4-game series for the Boston Red Sox here at the ballpark against the Rangers. And welcome, Dave Barnett along with Tom Grieve. Not much to write home about in terms of the actual game last night, a 13-2 loss. No surprise that, again, it was Mike Napoli who handled the Rangers offense.
Now, we've been talking about Mike Napoli a lot for the last week, and we thought we'd show why we've been talking about him so much. He's done a lot of good things. How good have they been since the All-Star break? They've been really good. He's been hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Last night, he had a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that was 8 inches high off Josh Beckett, way out of the ballpark to left field. That's been a pretty regular occurrence for Mike. Since the All-Star break, he's one of the best hitters in the league. The best average, 5th in home runs, on base percentage is up in the 440s, slugging percentage 685, his OPS is over 1100. So when we start talking about Mike and say he's one of the best hitters in the American League since the All-Star break, that's not an exaggeration.
And tonight, he and the Rangers go against spot starter Andrew Miller for Boston. For the Rangers, it's Alexi Ogando. And the Rangers need a solid outing out of Alexi. They can still split this 4-game series. Lineups. First pitch next. Sports Southwest brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. By Jack in the Box. Try the new Jumbo Breakfast Platter for only $2.99. By Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. As the Rangers take the field, we go down below and welcome Leslie McCaslin.
Well, last night, Nelson Cruz got the night off, and it was Ian Kinsler that was DHing. Tonight, it'll be Michael Young DHing with Omar Quintanilla filling in at third base. I asked the skipper, Ron Washington, before the game how he goes about deciding when to give his players the night off.
I think when you look at the grind that we've been through with our schedule, you just have to try to pick when you think the best time is. And, I've been wanting to try to get Michael a day. And today I just decided to put him in a DH spot, and because I can't afford to give him a whole day right now where we are in the schedule. So last night I chose Kins, tonight I chose Mike, tomorrow I'll choose someone else.
That's your Geico quote of the game. These are difficult decisions to make when it's such an important time of the season and when you're up against such stiff competition as they are this week. Back to you, Dave.
Absolutely. And the Rangers have seen their lead, one inning for being 8 games just a few days ago, shrink to 2.5 games. Partly because of their troubles the last couple of nights and because of the 6-game winning streak by the idle LA Angels. Southwest Airlines Red Sox starting lineup. JACOBY ELLSBURY leading off. Jed Lowrie tonight batting second and playing third with Adrian Gonzalez batting third. Dustin Pedroia cleaning up. David Ortiz returned last night. He's the DH. Carl Crawford had left a big night. Salty is the catcher. Josh Reddick in right. Marco Scudero drops to the 9 spot as Alexi Ogando tries to do what C.J. Wilson did Monday, the first game of this series, moved to 13-5.
Well, overall, you can't quibble with that record, 12-5 and a 3.30 ERA. He hasn't walked many, less hits than innings pitched, 2 or fewer walks in 20 of his 24 starts. He's had good control. Last 4 starts don't look that great, 2-0 with a 5.64 ERA. But his last start against the White Sox was a really good start. 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. And the start before that against the Angels was almost a really good start. He gave up a couple of late runs in the 7th inning in a game the Rangers won 8-4.
Well, JACOBY ELLSBURY ready to lead off. And takes strike 1. 101 degrees tonight. 3 degrees cooler than the first pitch last night, although it dropped 20 degrees by the end of the game. Most of that very quickly. 0-2 to ELLSBURY. 3 hits last night. A homer, a stolen base, drove in 2. He has had a superb all-around series, 4 for 9. And comes in with a 7-game hitting streak.
And it's pretty safe to say after watching the last 2 games, you need to keep ELLSBURY off the base paths. When he gets on, Red Sox tend to have big innings.
Average of .315. That is 6th in the American League. 23 homers, 81 runs batted in. That's tied for 8th. And that is very high. Our home plate umpire tonight is Kerwin Danley with Paul Noward at first. Doug Eddings at second, and the crew chief Dana DeMuth at third. Lost an offense that the last 2 games put together 24 runs on 30 hits. And outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. They have not, however, scored double-digit runs in 3 straight games yet this year. And they have lost 11 of their last 15 here at the ballpark. There's a good start for Alexi Ogando.
Well, that was a good start because he got ahead with his fastball. He tried a changeup, and he got the strikeout with a very good slider down and in. First time ELLSBURY had seen that pitch, and you can tell how much he was fooled by it.
Rangers hope there's a lot more where that came from as Jed Lowrie steps up. He has also had a good series as he takes a high strike and a good road trip. He's hit at all 6 games of this trip at .375. Lowrie, a switch hitter, much better from the right side against right-handed pitching. Hits only .212 with 1 of his 4 homers. He's mostly played shortstop this year. Tonight, his 17th start of the year at third base. As we look at the Ranger defense with Hamilton, Gentry, and CRUZ back in the lineup of the outfield. Quintanilla giving Michael Young a half day off at third. Andrews, Kinsler, Napoli, the rest of the infield, and Torrealba catching. Out of play 2-2 to Lowry with Adrian Gonzalez on deck. As we said, the Angels are off. The Yankees won, did they ever, this afternoon in a wild one, 22-9 over the A's. So the Red Sox will either win or they will fall back into a tie with New York for the AL East lead. And that one stroked to right field. CRUZ back just a few steps. And now the top hitter in baseball, but one of 4 Red Sox, Tom, who are really handfuls.
Yeah, that's 4 in the middle of the lineup, and that's not counting Kevin Youkilis, who's on the disabled list and was having a year a lot like the year Adrian Beltre's having. So they're an outstanding offensive team. That's all you can say.
Gonzalez has had a terrific series, 3 homers in the last 2 games to Tuesday.
It's also not counting Carl Crawford, who is capable of a lot more than he's shown.
First pitch here, well hit center field. There is home run number 4 of the series for Gonzalez and his 100th run batted in, and it's 1-0 Boston.
He's thrown a fastball to get ahead of Ellsbury and Lowrie, and right now Gonzalez is creaming the ball, hitting the ball out of the ballpark. He tried to get ahead of him with a fastball, but Gonzalez was ready for it. He watched what happened to the first 2 hitters, and you just can't throw a fastball down the middle of the plate to a hitter like this and expect to get strike 1.
411 feet. And strike 1 down to Dustin Pedroia. Home run number 22. Adrian Gonzalez has his 4th 100 RBI season. Pedroia 4 for 12 in the series. He's driven in 4 runs. American League Player of the Month for July, mostly because of a career best 25-game hitting streak and a well-placed strike 2 there.
That's better. You know, you can throw it 95 miles an hour, but if it's in the center of the plate to these hitters, you're not going to have a lot of success. But when you throw it on the outside corner like that, even to a hitter like Pedroia, you've got a much better chance.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Agondo. But Adrian Gonzalez has put the Red Sox on top. Kinsler and the Rangers coming to bat. sixth inning, already down on the Adrian Gonzalez home run 1-0. And the lefty Andrew Miller deals high to Ian Kinsler. Ian at 246 on the year. Looking to extend his hitting streak against Boston to 15 games. And that won't do it. A broken back grounder to Scutaro. Southwest Airlines Ranger starting lineup tonight. Elvis Andrus will bat next, and then it'll be Hamilton, Young DHing. CRUZ back in the lineup in right. Napoli is at first with Torrey Alba batting seventh ahead of Gentry, and Omar Quintanilla playing third.
Andrew Miller on the mound. This will be his 10th start. He's had a couple of relief appearances as well. Nice record at 5-1, but more hits than innings pitched. Opponents are hitting over 300 against him. 30 walks in 48 innings. He was the 6th overall pick back in 2006 out of the University of North Carolina. Tigers picked him with the 6th pick. He was going to be a guy that was a very difficult sign, and so they picked him 6th. He might have been picked earlier if teams thought they could sign him. Tigers paid him, and at the time he was probably a mid-90s to upper 90s guy, and he's probably capable of reaching that on occasion right now, but so far early in the game he's 90, 93-ish, right around in there. Hasn't lived up to his potential. Got to the big leagues probably way before he was ready.
He is 26 and long and lean, 6'7" and 210. Elvis trying to get something going here. One for his last 19. And that one will hold up long enough for Josh Reddick to get there. Miller retires the first two Rangers as we look at the Boston defense with Crawford, Ellsbury, and Reddick the outfield. Lowry, Scutaro, Pedroia, Gonzalez around the infield. Salty doing the catching.
Miller's last start was against Kansas City. Pretty good start. Pitched into the 6th inning, only gave up 1 run. That was his first start in 3 weeks. Yeah. Red Sox, though, are 8-1 in his 9 starts, so he's doing something right.
Josh Hamilton, a couple of walks, 0 for 2 last night. Favorable call there from Kerwin Danley for Josh, a ball and a strike. Most of the Rangers have not seen Miller. Ranger who has batted against him the most is Adrian Beltre, 6 times. Obviously that helps no one tonight. But Hamilton will try to continue that success against the Red Sox. And over his career, a .325 average for Josh. Miller sits him down. A good curveball. Josh still discussing it with Danley, but it's a 1-2-3 bottom half of the first inning and a 1-0 Boston lead.
Tonight, Texas Rangers Foundation, along with the Arlington Chamber of Commerce and JCPenney, once again be welcoming children authors. They visit area schools each month, as well as various general public places, like right here at the ballpark in Arlington, Diamond Club. It'll take place September 8th. The noted author, that is Raul Colon, will be a special guest here. So to find out for more information, please log on to texasrangers.com/foundation or call the number on your screen. Celebrating a birthday in Community Corner tonight. Your name is?
Peter.
And Peter, where are you from?
Austria.
All right, there we go. Good day, mate. There we go. Way to go, Peter. Right off the bat. How about that?
That's a way to work it in, Jim.
Now, I think he said Austria. That's not a good day, mate, too.
Jim has never met someone he couldn't say good day, mate, to. That's just his way of saying hi to somebody.
Pretty sure that was Austria. Well, this is Big Poppy. Big Poppy missed 9 games with bursitis in his right heel. Came right back last night. 2 hits, a double, RBI, and comes in tonight now with an 8-game hitting streak, during which he is at almost 500, 3 home runs.
Well, every hitter who's seen a first pitch fastball has been a little bit late on it that swung at it, except for Adrian Gonzalez. His first pitch fastball ended up on Greens Hill in center field.
Just as the Rangers have virtually no history with Andrew Miller, the Red Sox don't have much with Alexi Ogando. He pitched 4 times against them last year, all in relief, for a total of 4 1/3 innings, allowing 1 run. A lot of late swings and foul balls, and a 2-2 count. Big Poppy, another all-star year. 7th all-star start as the DH, all with the Red Sox. Streak has him at 24 homers, tied for 7th in the league. And he rips that one way back. Home run number 25, and it's 2-0.
Well, kept throwing him fastballs. He was a little bit late on the first ones. Threw that one on the inside part of the plate, and he hit it out of the ballpark. When you're facing hitters that are hot and swinging the bats well, it's tough to make. It's tough if you don't make your pitch. And sometimes when you do make your pitch, it's still tough. He got that ball in, but it was no problem for Ortiz. He kept his hands in, got the good part of the bat on it, hit it out of the ballpark.
That is a rather historic home run for Big Poppy. 8th career 25 home run season with the Red Sox, breaking a tie with Jim Rice, and now only Ted Williams with 14 has more 25 homer seasons.
If you want success against this team, you've got to do what he just did. You got to mix in your off-speed pitches. That was a good changeup. If he can continue to develop and throw that same pitch, the changeup he threw right there, he'll be in good shape. It'll be a good pitch for him. There's 2 in a row. 2 good pitches.
Big Poppy pose. Just for a second.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. A hitter hits the ball and takes a look at it. Nowadays, pitcher catches you doing that, they want to drill somebody because of it. Never understood that. You know, when a pitcher strikes somebody out and pumps his fist and pounds his glove and screams, the hitter doesn't say anything. So why does the pitcher get so upset if the hitter hits a ball and takes a little look at it? I don't really get that. They think it's showing them up. And Ogando took no offense to it. I'm not suggesting that Ogando did, but if you watch games over the last couple of weeks, you will have seen several times where that happened. And evidently Jared Weaver doesn't like it when you do it very much.
Josh Beckett really doesn't like it. Torrealba hangs on to the foul tip.
You see, when you throw changeups in the count, and he threw him a couple of changeups in that at bat. Then the 95-mile-an-hour fastball gets a swing like that. If all you're throwing is fastballs, there's no way Crawford takes that same pitch at the fastball. But the changeup set it up.
Introducing Fox Sports Game Connect, the ultimate online experience for fans. Log on to take part in the most interactive forum during Rangers games. Stats, trends, exclusive analysis, and live Twitter feeds. Plus, you can even share your thoughts with our game broadcast. Fox Sports Game Connect, now available on foxsportssouthwest.com. Saltalamacchia. 2 doubles and 7 trips, first 2 games of this series. Got the night off last night where Jason Varitek got the start. 3 of the first 4 outs recorded by Ogando, swinging strikeouts. I don't think Ogando even saw that very brief pause by Big Papi. He's just watching it land 395 feet away.
Yeah, I don't think he would have taken offense at it anyway. A couple of off-speed pitches, and then you throw the fastball right by the hitter. You just have to mix. When you're facing a team like this, you have to mix your pitches up. You can't get into any kind of a pattern that the hitter can predict. And Ortiz saw all fastballs, and even though it wasn't a terrible pitch, he had the timing down.
Just a couple he liked back, and Gonzalez and Ortiz depositing those for the top scoring team in baseball. Full up to Saltalamacchia with Josh Reddick on deck.
I'm glad to see Ogando throwing his changeup, making an effort to use it. He's thrown 3 or 4 this inning, and that can really help his way of attacking a hitter if they know he's got a changeup.
And really, wouldn't you say, I mean, it's hard to use the word mandatory, but does it really need to become a regular part of his arsenal? The first part of this year, the fastball and the slider were enough, but at this point he's got a track record and can use that extra weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to be pretty fine with your command if you're only throwing 2 pitches and they're both hard. And so as time goes on, you know, it's asking a lot for Ogando. We have to remember that poor kid's never started a game until this year, so he came into the season without a changeup. He didn't have to throw one in relief last year. And so it's taken a while to develop the grip that he wants, to feel confident to throw it. But he's starting to do it. And in this at bat to Saltalamacchia, he's throwing him a little bit of everything, including a couple of 3-2 sliders. And couple of the changeups he's thrown have been really good. So the making of a nice changeup is there. Now it's just a matter of repeating it, getting more comfortable with it, and it'll really help him. There's a changeup, and just able to get a piece of it. Showing the confidence to throw it on 3-2. That was a good pitch.
2 homers tonight. Only 12 in his first 24 starts. And he allowed only 1 this month. And that was 2 starts ago at Anaheim. That's as many homers as he had given up in his last 5 starts combined. And with the high hard one at 97, he takes care of Salty.
You see a couple of 3-2 sliders, a 3-2 changeup. Saltalamacchia did a nice job to hang in there, but then he's not ready for the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And he couldn't lay off the high pitch. He threw it right by him with no problem. You saw the same thing happen to Crawford.
So 5 outs, 4 swinging strikeouts, and here is Reddick.
And Reddick's going up there looking for the first fastball and got a slider, missed it by a mile.
Reddick got into last night's game late as a defensive replacement. Got 1 at bat in. .289 average, second best among American League rookies. In his second stint with the Red Sox, came up so far to stay back on June 18th when Carl Crawford went on the DL for a month. And he rips that one. A base hit to right field. Heading for second as CRUZ chases it down deep in the corner. And for Josh Reddick, it's a 2-out double. Just his fourth hit in 21 at-bats on this road trip.
Well, a good try with that pitch. It was a changeup. He just got it up a little bit. Got a lot of the plate. Most of the changeups he's thrown have been down and slightly out of the strike zone. That one caught the middle of the plate. That's why Reddick was able to hit it so well. That's okay. He's working on it.
That'll bring up Marco Scutaro, batting ninth tonight. 2 hits and 11 at bats so far in the series. Both those hits doubles. And just 3 for 18 on their road trip.
.41 pitches for Ogando. So the Red Sox have worked the count and worked his pitch count up there. This will be 42 before the second inning's over. Good slider. I think Ogando's throwing the ball fine. Making some good pitches. Just facing a good hitting team that's hot right now. They're swinging the bats, boy.
How about that? First since 2000, extra base hit, sac bunt, sac fly. All in the same game.
There's a random fact.
That was game 2 on Tuesday night. And last night an RBI double in 4 trips. Crowd trying to help Alexi maybe strike out the side here and limit the damage. Up 2-2. This now approaching a 30-pitch inning.
Yeah, every at-bat has been long. Ortiz, Crawford, Saltalamacchia all had long at-bats. Reddick's wasn't that long. Saltalamacchia's was really long.
10 pitches. Finally struck him out. And he strikes out Scutaro. Looking. Strikes out the side. 5 strikeouts through 2, but the home runs by Gonzalez and Ortiz. Michael Young takes strike one, leading off the Rangers' second, trailing 2-0. Michael at 337, still second only to Adrian Gonzalez. And lines that one off the glove of Dustin Pedroia, and the Rangers have their first base runner. Ron Washington saying before the game it's just tough to give Michael Young a whole day off right now, so he is the DH, and he's off to a good start.
Yep. I'm sure that the pitcher, Miller, thought that was a pretty good pitch. Backdoor curveball. Would have been a lot better pitch if Pedroia was about 3 inches taller.
Nelson Cruz got the whole day off yesterday, trying to get him out of a 2 or 3 for 23 6-game slump. And beyond that, even going back his last 18 games, Nelly hitting .206. Last time he got a day off, he responded with some of his best hitting of the year. That is the hope here as well. And he had been grinding away. He had started the last 21 consecutive games before yesterday. One and two from Miller. Cruz to be followed by Napoli. The Rangers again looking to come from behind. Not like last night, though. It was 4 runs in the first off of Matt Harrison. Tuesday, the Red Sox got 2 in the first off of Colby Lewis. They have been front running since the series began on Monday with the 4-0 Rangers victory. The Rangers have dropped 4.5 games in the standings over the last 8 days. A win tonight, and they will have a 3-game lead on the Angels as that 3-game series begins tomorrow night. And what a show that should be. Going to be out here for all 3 games at the ballpark. And Cruz strikes out for the first out and the second strikeout for Andrew Miller.
It's a hard breaking ball down and in. Just kept on breaking.
So there's 1 out, but here is Mike Napoli. Mike last night providing both the Ranger runs batted in, with a 2-out solo homer in the 4th and a 2-out RBI single in the 8th. He keeps going. By the end of the Angel series, look for him at 300 or better. 40 games now he's been off the disabled list, and he is at 364 with 12 home runs. Red Sox have seen him do it far too often. And Mitch Moreland getting a rest tonight. Mitch 2 for his last 16. So it's Napoli with Torrealba on deck. Andrew Miller, as Tom said, out of the University of North Carolina, where in 2006 he was the college player of the year, 13-2 that year with a .248 earned run average. Left as the Tar Heels' career strikeout record holder. And he gets to 2-2 on Napoli. The issue this year has been way too much nibbling. 33 strikeouts against 30 walks in his first 11 appearances, 9 of those starts. Sends the count full to Mike.
Well, the other thing Napoli's done, in addition to swinging the bat very well, he's been pretty patient up there too. He sees a lot of pitches. Miller had him swinging and missing at a changeup. See if he tries that at 3-2. Nope.
And Young going. The throw from Saltalamacchia sails into center field. Michael will stop at second base.
Oh, good fastball by Miller. He threw the fastball by a hot hitter who's been hitting the fastball. Saltalamacchia had a great chance to throw Michael out at second base, but he just threw it a little bit too high. That's kind of right in Michael's wheelhouse. Now, before the game, we showed the location and the swings at Mike's last 3 home runs. That pitch was pretty much right there, almost exactly, maybe a little bit lower than where Eric Bedard served up the home run ball, the 3-run home in the first game of the series. But that time, Miller was able to sneak it by him.
And Michael safe after that short slide with his 6th steal of the year. Scoring position with 2 outs for Yorvi Torrealba. And Yorvi rested yesterday. Strike 1 at the knees. Continues to hit well. The month of August, 5th best in the league at .373.
The Rangers went into the last game in Anaheim really swinging the bats well. They had a good series in Oakland. The first 3 games in Anaheim, they swung the bats really well. But since that time, the last 7 games, they're only hitting .209. Gone into a little bit of a tailspin.
Yep, and the last 7 games, no more than 8 hits. That is the longest such stretch since way back April of a year ago.
That seems like it wasn't that long ago. We were talking about how many straight games they had 10 or more hits.
Yeah.
So it's gone the other way the last week.
It's gone the other way, and they're 2-5 in those 7 games with 8 hits or fewer. Little nubble here, and that is a tough play. Miller slides, backhand flip in time to Gonzalez. Works around the leadoff single and stolen base by Michael Young, and he leads 2-0 through 2. By Geico Insurance, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By AT&T, rethink possible. And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve. Fourth game of this series. Rangers trying for a 2-2 split. And Alexi Ogando has had a real mix in his first 2 innings. He has thrown 45 pitches, 29 in the second, which began with a home run by David Ortiz, but ended with him striking out the side. So he's gone through the order once, and that began with a strikeout of Jacoby Ellsbury. 5 total strikeouts through 2 for Alexi.
Good pitch. Doing a changeup on the first pitch. Got him out in front of it. Got a nice quick out.
Well, Tom, we've got an early Game Connect question from Laura on FoxSportsSouthwest.com. When and how do ball players work to fix problems? Do they work with coaches every day or just when they struggle?
Well, the players work with coaches every day. They take batting practice every day. They take fielding practice every day. Starting pitchers throw between starts with the pitching coaches out in the bullpen every day. The relief pitchers play catch before batting practice every day and work on their delivery so that they repeat it consistently. They work on different pitches that they're trying to learn how to throw. So in addition to the workouts every day for every player with the coaches, there are also specialized workouts for guys that may be struggling offensively. They may take extra batting practice one-on-one before regular practice. A pitcher that's struggling with his delivery may throw a couple of times between starts instead of just once. So in answer to your question, yes, whether they're struggling or not, they work with coaches every day. Now, if a guy's going through a great streak, he may not need coaching to improve anything. He may just have the coach watch to make sure his swing looks normal. There's no difference in his swing. The pitching coach may just be watching the pitcher to make sure everything's right in his delivery. The way the ball is going to the catcher looks the right way. Andy Hawkins is the bullpen coach. So there's coaching going on every day, different degrees of it depending on how the player's playing, and it's more specialized if they have a specific problem.
3-1 pitcher to Lowry is outside, and there is the first walk issued by Ogando. A good example of that is the relationship between Mike Napoli and Scott Coolbaugh since he came along as the Rangers hitting coach. Napoli gives Scott a lot of credit for getting him going and now keeping him at such a high level.
Yeah, he does. He also mentions Johnny Narin, too. Johnny is kind of Scott's assistant, and Mike spends a lot of time talking to him. And sometimes it's not open up your stance, take a bigger stride or a smaller stride.
Adrian Gonzalez, another long blast way back in the visiting bullpen. Another 2-home run night. That's the second time this series. First pitch both times.
Yeah, I got a suggestion the next time up. Don't throw him a fastball over the middle of the plate. That might give you a better chance of not having that happen. And you got the hottest hitter in baseball the last 3 or 4 days, one of the best hitters in baseball, now swinging a home run bat. That's not a smart thing to do. That's a second pitch. He's seen 2 pitches. He's hit 2 420-foot home runs on 2 fastballs right down the middle of the plate. There's just not much you can say about that other than bad pitch, bad location.
Boy, and almost a bad throw there by Omar Quintanilla, but a nice stretch by Napoli to retire Pedroia on 1 pitch. Pedroia hoping he's going to see the same thing Adrian Gonzalez has. So again, the Rangers find themselves down early 4-0. And for Gonzalez, his 13th career 2-homer game.
Well, there's some hitters that you can just get ahead with a fastball with that location. But right now, Gonzalez is not one of them.
Ortiz, his first time up at a 2-2 pitch. 395 feet into the right field seats. Leadoff homer in the second. You ready for this distance on that shot by Adrian Gonzalez? 448 feet. That is one of the longest shots of the year.
Well, it's one of the longest shots that a left-hand hitter has hit to left field, that's for sure. That's usually a spot where Nelly Cruz, if he pulled the ball, might be able to deposit one, but you'll see very infrequently a left-hand hitter drive the ball 450 feet to the opposite field. And remember, he only hit one home run since the home run derby at the All-Star game before this series. He's hit 5 in this series. He had not had his home run swing until he came here. But now that he's got it, probably a good idea to pitch him a little more carefully.
Dana Demuth says Ortiz held up.
Yeah, that's borderline.
And now it's 3-2.
I want to wish a happy birthday to Margaret Mills from her husband Billy. They've been married for 60 years, and this is her 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Margaret.
I don't know which I'm more impressed by, that she's 80 or they've been married 60 years.
60 years is pretty good.
I think that's it.
Also want to thank Gwen and Larry Allison from La Mesa, Texas. They sent us a big batch of Mac Eplin's pink cookies. Mac Eplin's used to have a restaurant in Abilene a long time ago, 20 years ago. Used to be a big popular hangout for the high school and college kids during the 60s and 70s, actually a longer time ago than that. And those were his famous cookies at Mac Eplin's restaurant. So thanks for recreating them for us.
Elgondo Spears, the comebacker by Ortiz, but another long ball. He has been plagued by 3 already, 2 by Gonzalez. Craig Gentry leading off the Ranger third, and they need to get something going here against Andrew Miller as they now trail 4-0.
Need to get something going against Andrew Miller and then keep the ball in the ballpark and stop the Red Sox from scoring. Boy, in the last 3 days, there haven't been many innings when the Red Sox haven't scored.
Yeah, last night they scored in every inning but the 3rd and the 9th. Right before that, they scored in 5 of the 9. Gentry, his third start in the last 6 games at a .244 average.
Well, finish up. I was talking about the cookies that Gwen and Larry Allison sent. They're from Mac Eplin's restaurants that he used to have back in Abilene, Texas. People in Abilene might remember those restaurants back in the 60s and 70s. These are his pink cookies. Interesting sidelight. I think this is Larry that wrote the note. He said, "We are here marking our 38th anniversary. We've been happily married for 20 years.
There's so many mysteries.
There's some math missing in that, Larry, but we'll take it as your attempt at humor.
And apparently, that many years, you got an understanding misses. First walk issued by Miller. That has been an issue with him. I Am Second presents pregame concert for Mercy Me on the North Lawn at Rangers Ballpark this Saturday. Join us at 5 o'clock for live music from Mercy Me. And then watch the Rangers take on the Angels at 7:05. One ticket includes both, and they're available at TexasRangers.com or at 972 Rangers. Omar Quintanilla getting another start. This is his first of the year at third base. 6th overall start, his 11th game. And a hit would be welcome. He had a triple right after he was brought up. Nothing since then. 1 for 18, 8 strikeouts since that one hit. Last night at second base, 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and pops up the bunt here, and it is caught by the sliding Jared Saltalamacchia. Omar is not getting the job done. So Gentry still at first now with 1 out for the top of the order again, and seemed to be understandably frustrated there.
Well, while we're watching that, I want to thank Bruce and Betty Morris from Abilene. They're here celebrating their 56th wedding anniversary. You know how they're celebrating it? By bringing us a huge batch of peanut brittle. So thank you, Bruce and Betty. Hopefully the rest of the game goes a little bit better.
Ball 1 to Kinsler. He grounded to short to begin the game. Only 1 hit so far. It was Michael Young's leadoff single in the second. Other than that, only 1 ball out of the infield, and that was Andrews, who flied to right after the Kinsler ground out in the first. So Andrew Miller had been peppered pretty hard the first time through the lineup this year. His average was .338, and then he settles down, and the average second time through is .260. He's been strong first time through. Although, again, not a very impressive ball strike ratio. 20 strikes, 16 balls, but only 1 walk against 3 strikeouts. And there goes Gentry. Miller can only knock that one down. No play. Kinsler is aboard, and the Rangers have 2 base runners on for the first time tonight.
Ron Washington trying to start the runner. Try a little hit and run, it looked like. Worked out pretty good. Miller would have had a play if he was able to catch it. Kind of slapped it down to the ground, and once he did that, he wasn't going to be able to get Kinsler. Well, the Rangers with a nice little opportunity here for Elvis to come up and get them on the board, try to battle back in this game.
See Miller's reach there at 6'7", even able to get a piece of that was pretty impressive. And here is Elvis. A little liner to right, stayed up long enough for Reddick to make the catch back in the first. Goes right after that first pitch. Good time for him now to end his 1 for 20 with the Rangers going in this game. Numbers not bad with runners in scoring position for Andrews.
Looked like Gentry was thinking about trying to go to third right there. I think what Ron Washington is saying is we got to make something happen. We just can't sit back and try for that 3-run homer when the guys aren't swinging the bats. I got to try to manufacture something here.
Elvis getting the benefit there. A borderline call, and Miller wanted 1-1. Well, speed definitely on the base paths here. Gentry yet to be stolen, thrown out trying to steal. He's 14 for 14. Kinsler hasn't been thrown out since the middle of April. And a ground ball. Lowry starts a 5-4-3 double play. That is the way it is going for the Ranger bats. And through 3, it's still 4-0.
For Zip, Edgar Hansen from the Deadliest Catch on the Discovery Channel in town throughout the first pitch. What brings you to town besides watching the Rangers?
The Great American Trucking Show. So I'm here with Paramount Freight Systems, just trying to raise awareness. A lot of similarities between trucking and fishing. So
I got you. Now they say your job is the most dangerous occupation in the world. Why is that?
One of them, yeah. It's due to the ratio of boats that are actually out there fishing and how many men are lost per year. So if you do the ratio compared to boats to deaths, loss of lives and boats compared to a normal occupation, the numbers turn out to be staggering.
All right, I got you. Well, appreciate it. Thanks for the time, and good luck. Enjoy Dallas-Fort Worth area this weekend. There you go, Dave.
How do you sign up for that job? I've watched that show. That's the most frightening show I've ever watched.
Boy, it is. How do they even keep their balance on those boats in the Bering Sea?
I have no idea.
Not fall over the rail in 5 minutes.
Bet for one day.
I'd be over the rail in 5 seconds. Carl Crawford struck out his first time up. One of 5 strikeouts for Ogando. That's the good of it. The bad of it is 3 homers, 2 by Adrian Gonzalez. Yorvi Toriyama wants a word with Alexi. He's also thrown a lot of pitches, 64 with 40 for strikes. Two of those 64, the first pitch down the middle fastballs. Gonzalez hit the first 411 feet to straightaway center. The second 448 feet into the visiting bullpen. A 2-run shot in the third. We showed that fearsome, foursome Red Sox hitters. Carl Crawford not in that group, but last night 5 runs batted in. Third time he's done that in his career, and he starts the fourth with a line single to center.
Yeah, he's obviously a lot better player than he's shown for most of this season. The way he swung the bat last night and the way he just swung it right there looks a lot more like the Carl Crawford that people have seen for 5 or 6 years. So it's not out of the question that he could get hot for the last 5 weeks of the year either.
Well, the Red Sox have him for 6 more years. A big free agent contract. So
they sure hope he gets hot.
They were pretty much counting on it. And they're counting on more stolen bases, too. He is at 17 on the year. Jared Saltalamacchia battled for 10 pitches before finally striking out on a high fastball. He sends this one deep to left field. Hamilton looks up. Salty has gone deep. A 2-run blast, 6-0 Red Sox. It's been a sweet return home for Jared Saltalamacchia.
They are teeing off. Left-hand hitters driving the ball a long way the other way. I don't know if the lack of wind has anything to do with the way the ball's carrying tonight. Generally, the wind blows in from right field. Tonight it's barely blowing at all. But both left-hand hitters have hit those balls really well, too.
That is Salty's 13th of the year. He already had a career high. 367 feet. Adds to his career high now, 44 runs batted in. Josh Reddick doubled his first trip. Alexi Ogando now has Scott Feldman loosening in the bullpen. Had allowed 12 home runs all year in 24 starts, 147 innings. He has allowed 4 in 3+ innings tonight. That is as many as he had allowed since July 6th, when he gave up 2 in 7 innings in a 13-5 win over Baltimore. Didn't give up a homer for his next 2 starts. 1 to the Blue Jays 3 starts later, 1 to the Angels 3 starts after that. So it is unprecedented what the Red Sox are doing to him. Early on, his 3rd start ever at Yankee Stadium, they hit 3 out in 6 1/3. But that was a close game. The Rangers lost that one only 6-5. This one will stay in the park for Gentry.
I think he's throwing the ball fine tonight. His velocity is normal. He's trying to work in some changeups, throwing some sliders. I think it's just a combination of catching the middle of the plate with his fastball and facing a team that's really swinging the bats right now. I mean, they've got a great hitting team, probably the best hitting team in baseball. And they're hot right now. So they're not the kind of team you can throw fastballs and miss in the center of the plate. They're not missing today. You can throw those same pitches tomorrow and not have the same results. Just, you don't see balls hit out of the ballpark in batting practice all the time when they're thrown right down the middle of the plate. But tonight, he's just not getting away with anything.
Well, keeping it down here to Scudero. He struck out looking to end the second. And now 2 for 12 in the series. 11 of the last 14 innings, the Red Sox have put up runs. Ian Kinsler ranging far to his left for out number 2. Well, the Rangers host the Angels beginning tomorrow night. Sunday night baseball this week. Join us to support the boys from Texas in this AOS showdown. First 10,000 kids 13 and under will receive a Texas Rangers football. Tickets available now at TexasRangers.com. And again, that is for the Sunday night matchup, wrapping up that 3-game series. Jacoby Ellsbury has had nothing to do with this onslaught tonight. He struck out and fouled out to Torrealba. The pitching matchups are now unsettled for the Angels beyond tomorrow night. Kinsler handles the slow roller, and after the 2-run shot by Salta Lamacchia, Ogando gets the next 3 without incident. After 3.5, it's now 6-0. Josh Hamilton swings and misses at the first pitch from Miller in the Ranger fourth. He struck out looking to end the first. Same pitch, strike 2. Rangers in the first 3 innings against Miller have 2 hits, both of which touched Red Sox gloves. One a line shot by Young off the glove of Pedroia, leading off the second. The other an infield hit by Kinsler that Miller deflected. That was followed by the double play grounder off the bat of Elvis Andrus, as the Rangers had 2 on with 1 out last inning. But every time Miller takes the mound, his lead is bigger than when he was last out there. And he strikes out Hamilton again.
Well, the Rangers, they're just going through one of those little spells right now where the bats have quieted down. They were hot for quite a while, but right now they've cooled off. It'll turn around. You just got to keep hanging in there, keep swinging. Hopefully it'll turn around by tomorrow.
Here's Young, who has had the only thing remotely approaching a well-hit ball as he lined his single off Pedroia's glove, then stole second. But Miller responded by striking. Andrew Miller is used to some hefty run support. In fact, he's pretty much had nothing but. He has had 14 runs scored for him, 13 and 10 twice. And has never had less than 4 runs scored in any of his first 9 starts. Miller getting the start tonight, so Tim Wakefield can again try for his 200th career victory back home at Fenway tomorrow night, as they will open up a series against the Oakland A's. Right field for Josh Reddick. And time for tonight's AT&T trivia question. What is the Rangers' record for most at-bats by a player in a single game? You might think this has to do with an anniversary. CRUZ grounds out to LOWRIE, and it's a 1-2-3 4th inning for Miller. Giving back bottle caps can give returning vets a piece of the high life. Go to MillerHighLife.com for details.
And speaking of members of the military, the young man with a Ranger shirt on the right, the blue shirt, is PFC Caleb Young. He's a member of the Army Mountaineers, and he's home from Afghanistan enjoying a Ranger baseball game. Glad to have you home, Caleb.
Well, he will now see Scott Feldman take over well before anybody hoped to see Alexi Ogando out of the game on a Verizon wireless call to the bullpen. Feldman on to face Lowry, Gonzalez, and Pedroia here in the top half of the 5th inning.
Yeah, Scott is getting work kind of like a starting pitcher. Had a bunch of pitches and an extended outing several days ago, and right back on the mound looking for another one today.
He had to come in Chicago on Sunday after Derek Holland was gone after 3 1/3.
Yeah, he's essentially starting on 3 days rest today.
And Lowry.
Giving that thing up, boy. I wouldn't mind another bite.
Napoli feeds Feldman as dad feeds son.
I've got a puppy that does that to me while I'm eating. He never takes his eyes off the spoon, boy.
Steve Busby, if I bring up a helmet full of ice cream, will you treat me the same manner as his father is?
Will I share? Yes. No. There's no cheese.
No.
You get me if it has chocolate on it? No. You're out of luck. I'm sorry, Dave.
I had a partner a while back, Bill Jones.
Yeah.
You try to put your fork in his food, he'll stab you, boy. They sent him a Sunday in Minnesota one day that was about 5 times as big as that, with a chocolate brownie and ice cream, whipped cream, chocolate sauce, and I had an extra fork, and I reached over to just get a little taste. Man, he looked at me like I was stealing his last supper, boy.
I don't think I dirty my fork by stabbing anybody, but yeah, anything involving chocolate, like I'm all in for that.
0-2 to Adrian Gonzalez, who saw 2 pitches from Alexio Gondo. Buzz, your analysis.
They went a long way. two fastballs, almost an identical spot. The first one I thought was in the first inning, a get-ahead fastball. Here, I'm going to nail one on the outside half of the plate. And Gonzalez said, no, you're not. He's just swinging a hot bat right now. He is not missing anything that he can get the good part of the bat to. And he's elevating the things that he's getting the good part of the bat to. So that's not a good combination.
Well, Feldman got a first pitch fastball past him this time.
Yeah. Different guy.
Location had something to do with it. Movement had something to do with it. And, there's some hitters just pick up the ball easier on. Mm-hmm. And he was obviously seeing the ball pretty well against Ogando.
Those 2 home runs traveling a total of 859 feet. 448 feet. Opposite field. 2-run shot into the visiting bullpen. In the 3rd, the 3 of the career high 4 homers allowed by Alexio Gondo. But Feldman strikes him out with the high fastball.
Well, he's human. Let him chase the high fastball.
That little chart you just saw with the pitch tracker, that's pretty much how you'd like to pitch most guys. Down and away for strikes right at the bottom outside corner of the strike zone, and then up. See if you can get him to chase it. I would bet 90% of the guys at the major league level would fall into the category. That's how you'd like to do it. But doing it's a different story.
Yeah, I bet you'd like to have a dime, Buzz, for every time you heard someone say, a coach or a player, how do you pitch that guy? Fastballs in, sliders away. How many times you've heard someone say that one?
High and tight, low and away.
Well, there's the great story in Ball 4. Jim Bouton talks about a pregame pitching meeting, and the wisdom that's dispensed there is, well, Sandy Koufax got him out with overhand curveballs.
Threw him high fastballs. I remember that. I remember reading that. Yeah. Threw him high fastballs, nothing but.
Sandy Koufax high fastballs.
Yeah, that's right.
And overhead
Koufax threw him nothing but high fastballs.
Yeah.
And threw it right by him. Well, yeah, that's great.
That went to the Hall of Fame doing it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing Ogando did, he handled Ellsbury 0 for 3, and Pedroia's first 2 at bats struck him out and got him to ground to 3rd. 2-2 now as Feldman tries for a 1-2-3 inning. Algondo with 5 strikeouts. He threw some really impressive stuff, but boy, the 4.
And they all had to do with location, Dave. It was, the Gonzalez one, again, you're just trying to get. Believed he'd be swinging, and Gonzalez took advantage. The one to Ortiz on a 2-2 pitch, he had tried to come inside, didn't get it in far enough. Now the pitch on the 0-1 pitch that he had got him inside, straightened him up, got him off the plate a little bit. Well, he was trying to do it on 2-2 and had out about 4 or 5 inches of the inside corner, and Ortiz hit that ball pretty well. And that's not a pitch that he'll hit out every time, but it was the location wasn't quite good enough.
Feldman handles the comebacker, and it is a 1-2-3 fifth inning for Scott Feldman. And we're halfway done. It is 6-0 Red Sox. Our AT&T trivia question, the Rangers' record for most at-bats by a player in a single game. The answer, 9 twice. Rafi Palmeiro, 0 for 9.
Oh, boy, that's a bad day.
Ooh. And then, Frankie the Cat Catalanato, 10 years ago, had a little better success in his 9 at-bat performance.
It's been some pretty tough pitching if Rafi went 0 for 9 in one game.
Boy, some tough pitching from Andrew Miller, who strikes out Napoli for the second time. That's his 5th. He's gotten Hamilton twice and Napoli twice.
Well, Buzz, is probably a combination of Miller's throwing a nice game and he's catching the Rangers at the right time.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's a very good point. It's right on, I think, Tom. It's timing is everything. Whether it's pitching or hitting, it's when you get to guys and when you're swinging the bat well, when you're throwing the ball well. And right now the Rangers are in a week-long funk for them. No more than 8 hits in a ball game in those 7 games prior to tonight.
Well, I guess the good thing is when it started, the Rangers had a 7-game lead. Bad part is most of that lead is gone, but the good thing is it still is a lead. They just got to scratch and get back and start swinging the bats again.
Torrealba sends one to Ellsbury. Miller's needed only 55 pitches to get through 4 2/3, still having allowed only 2 hits, 1 an infield hit by Ian Kinsler. His lone walk was to Craig Gentry, leading off the 3rd.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing, when the Rangers bats went silent, the starting pitching, which had been great, got a little bit sloppy also, and that's not a good combination for you.
Nope.
Buzz, I didn't mean to wait this long, but moment of silence for the late Mike Flanagan before the game. Contemporary of yours, memories of him?
Great competitor. You know, he was one of those guys. If you wanted to typify the Baltimore Oriole organization, I think Mike Flanagan was right there with the rest of the great pitchers that had come up. And I'm just sorry to see that such a tragedy hit the Baltimore Oriole family and the Flanagan family.
7 pitches, 1, 2, 3. Ranger 5th. Steve Busby, as always, we appreciate the visit.
Come back when we can stay a little longer.
Okay,
Buzz.
now I get this thing going here. Get some runs.
Appreciation Weekend promotions. You can vote for what songs accompany the fireworks show after the final Friday game of the regular season. Away that Sunday. Vote for the rest of the month of August /vote. Scott Feldman retired the Red Sox in order in the 5th. Now he's got Ortiz, Crawford, and Saltalamacchia. And he comes in firing strikes. 2 ground outs, a strikeout of Gonzalez in the 5th. Ortiz, leadoff homer to right in the 2nd, and a bouncer back to the mound in the 3rd. Our Ford leaderboard for tonight. Career home runs by DHs, and Big Poppy heads that list. More than Frank Thomas, more than Edgar Martinez, Harold Baines, and Don Baylor.
I guess the difference between those players is Ortiz has pretty much always been a designated hitter. The other guys started out for a lot of their career playing positions, probably don't have the same amount of at-bats. But I think even when Ortiz was playing first base, he was a designated hitter in waiting.
And with the Red Sox, really, that's all he's been. But you had Frank Thomas, first baseman, Edgar Martinez, third baseman. Baines, an outfielder.
When Don Baylor came up as an outfielder, he played a lot of first base as well. But then settled in and obviously had a lengthy time as a designated hitter as well.
First baseman Napoli to Feldman. That's how the last inning started.
Good curveball by Scott. I thought in his last game against the White Sox, he threw too many curveballs. He had a good one, but it just seemed like he wasn't taking advantage of his good hard sinker that he has. But that's a good curveball in a good location to Ortiz. He kept it down. And at times since Scott has come back, seen a little bit more life on his sinker, a little bit better velocity. Curveball's been a little sharper. He's thrown some pretty good cutters. And all in all, I think if you're Scott, you have to feel pretty good with where you are right now, having missed so much time last year and this year. Just to be back healthy and throwing the ball pretty well has to be a good step in the right direction. And then having a chance 3 days apart to go back out there and get a lot of work in, I'm sure is beneficial to Scott. There's been some talk about the possibility of Scott making a couple of spot starts to maybe spell one of the younger pitchers and give them a breather. Don't know where that stands or whether it's something that's actually going to happen. But right now, after today, 3 or 4 days from now, he'll be in a position to start and go as deep in the ball game as Ron Washington would need him to go, if in fact that's something they ever decide they want to do.
You know, Wash said before the game, still in discussion, possibility of manipulating rest for some of the young starting pitchers. No plan in place yet, but that is one thing that has been thrown out there. Get Feldman to start. Strikes out Crawford.
Pretty good start to this game. 5 up, 5 down. A couple of strikeouts.
Let's check in with Jim Knox.
All right, Dave, here's a familiar face. Former Indianapolis 500 winner. This is Sam Hornish Jr. in town. He, of course, right now drives on the Nationwide Series, the number 12 Alliance Truck Parts car. In town for the Great American Truck Show. Where's that and when's that taking place?
It's out at the convention center, and it's all weekend, but tomorrow I'll be out there signing autographs from 2 to 4 in the Alliance Truck Parts booth.
Oh, excellent. Okay, then after that, where do you go from there?
I'm not sure yet. Our schedule's a little bit up in the air, but the next race for sure is September 17th at Chicagoland Speedway at Joliet, Illinois. So looking forward to getting back out on the track. We're just running a partial schedule this year, so get a lot of time to spend going to ball games and hanging out with my family. So it's been nice to be able to come down here and enjoy the heat a little bit.
There we go. All right, Sam, good seeing you. Best of luck. Maybe a lot of people will see you then tomorrow afternoon. Appreciate the time. Big Ranger fan, too, guys.
Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Glad to hear him enjoying the heat. Let's drop below 100. Salto Lamacchia behind 1 and 2. He really showed the better and the worse for Ogando tonight. First time up, struck him out. Second time up, 2-run home run opposite field. That really spelled the end for Ogando. He retired the next 3, but that was it. 4 innings, 77 pitches. 6 runs and a career high 4 homers. And Feldman has retired all 6 Red Sox hitters, including 3 on strikes.
Baby. 3 new breakfast burritos, baby. Dig into our whole lineup starting at just $1.99. This is how you sound.
$300 and dinner for two at a Sonic Drive-In. Rangers tonight are hitting for Patty Hamilton from here in Arlington. The Ranger hits a grand slam during this inning. Patty Hamilton from Arlington wins $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Omar Quintanilla popped up an attempted sacrifice bunt his first time up. Andrew Miller has put together his best outing yet. This is 10th start of the year. Through 5, he has allowed only 2 base hits. Single by Young, leading off the second, off the glove of Pedroia, and an infield hit by Kinsler in the third with 5 strikeouts. Miller had allowed an opponent average of over 300 before tonight's game.
He had a stretch where he walked 15 batters in 13 innings, kind of in the middle of his starting assignments, but he's kind of gotten better lately.
Yeah, he barely had more strikeouts than walks before tonight. The ratio tonight is 5-1. Only walk was Gentry.
He was pitching really well in the minor leagues before the Red Sox called him up. Had an opponent's batting average of 181. He was 3-3, had a good ERA. And so maybe it's just a matter of starting to get some regular work in the rotation.
Quintanilla hits a tapper to Scutaro, but the throw cannot be dug out by Gonzalez, and Omar is aboard on the air.
Not a real good play by Scutaro. Had a pretty good chance to make that play. I don't know if the ball, if he never had a good grip on the ball, but he charges it. Looks like he has plenty of time to make the play, but his throw is way short of Gonzalez. Scutaro doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's usually very accurate. I don't know if he ever had a good grip on that. It looked like he had all 4 fingers on the ball.
Ninth error of the year for Marco Scutaro.
Yeah, he's a pretty dependable guy. It's unusual to see him make an error like that.
Well, the Rangers will take it. This is only their 4th base runner. Ian Kinsler, one of those, reached on an infield hit off the glove of Miller in the third. He rounded out to Scutaro, leading off the first. Talked about how Miller was a high first-round pick by the Tigers, 2006, from North Carolina, College Player of the Year that year. Valued very highly by the Marlins, who got him a major piece of the trade that sent Miguel Cabrera and Dontrell Willis to the Tigers, December of '07.
Yeah, it turned out to be a really good trade for the Tigers. One of the other players that the Tigers sent was Cameron Maben, who was also a very high draft choice. At the time, they were probably the Tigers' 2 best minor league prospects. So in addition to get Cabrera, they had to take Dontrell Willis to take the salary off the hands of the Florida Marlins. That was part of the trade too. Not that they wanted Dontrell Willis, but Florida said, we won't make the trade unless you take Dontrell Willis.
Not many 3-ball counts from him, and there's his second walk, and the second time tonight that the Rangers have had 2 base runners on in an inning. The other time was the 3rd inning after the Kinsler infield hit, and Miller promptly got Andrews to hit into an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play. So here's Elvis again. He flied to right in the first, and now 1 for his last 21. Miller says that early in his career he was way too focused on mechanics, getting just right, and that cost him a lot of good years in the majors. He's finally decided that there is a place for mechanics, but you really can't worry about those thoughts when you're in battle against major league hitters.
You know, that's so true. I think in any sport, it's definitely true in golf. You can work on your mechanics on the range, but when you get out on the course, you've got to figure out a way to get the ball in the hole. And the same thing when you're hitting. You can think about your mechanics in the batting cage and work on it there, but once the game starts, it's a battle between you and the pitcher. And any thoughts about mechanics just get in the way of the concentration you need to hit a big league pitcher. And the same with a pitcher. You pick up the catcher's sign and the location, and you concentrate on that without having to worry about your mechanics. It's too late once the game starts to worry about that.
So this year he shifted his approach to just thinking about being competitive.
Yep, that's probably a very good idea. You know, when you're younger, you're not thinking about mechanics, you're just thinking about being competitive, and that's that age-old thing that the manager tells his players: don't think, you hurt the ball club.
Yeah. Well, tonight he has been mostly razor sharp. First base, Paul Nauert says Elvis held up, and it's 2-2. I had a friend ask me a couple days ago, do you remember another major league umpire wearing glasses as Paul Nauert does? Offhand, I couldn't.
I don't know.
This could be 2 as well. Not in time to get Elvis. Quintanilla now at third with 1 out.
One thing Miller's done tonight is he's kept the ball off the good part of the bat. There's been a lot of balls topped on the ground. Not many balls have been hit on the good part of the bat solidly. Michael Young had a line shot to right field. Elvis hit a decent line drive to right field his first time up. For the most part, Miller, whether it's his first time he's seen most of these hitters, his lanky body, the way he offers deception with that lanky body, the pitches he's thrown, whatever the reason, the Rangers are not getting a lot of good swings against him tonight.
Well, Josh Hamilton has it. He struck out looking to end the first, swinging to begin the fourth. 2 of the 5 strikeouts so far by Miller. And he's been featuring his curve to Josh. Strike 1 there on the fastball. One swing here, though. Rangers right back in the game. First and third and 1 out. But again, ahead of Hamilton. 0-2. Action in the Boston bullpen with right-hander Alfredo Aceves. Miller at 75 pitches. Nice stop by Saltalamacchia. Quintanilla stays put at third, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, watching Jared work behind the plate, he's doing a great job defensively. That is a beautiful play to be able to shift his weight and block that ball. Getting better and better back there. He was showing a lot of improvement with the Rangers right before he was traded. Becoming a really solid defensive player back there. Put in a lot of work to improve to get to that point.
Miller, the Florida Gatorade High School Player of the Year from Gainesville. Buckholz High School, still lives there. One pitch away now from loading the bases for Michael Young, and things could get very interesting very quickly. Strikeout, throw out, double play, as Hamilton takes the hat trick against Miller.
So where's the best place?
Your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. By Columbiana in theaters tomorrow. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout days. On to the seventh inning, Dave Barnett and Tom Grieve. And Scott Feldman, 6 up and 6 down after replacing Alexio Gondo. Reddick, Scutaro, and Ellsbury here in the Boston 7th. Feldman has not allowed a ball out of the infield. He has gotten 2 grounders to first, 1 back to him, and 3 strikeouts. He struck out Gonzalez, Crawford, and Saltalamacchia, all swinging.
All his pitches have been good. Good movement on his sinker. Some good curveballs. Throwing some changeups, cutters. 31 quality pitches. 21 strikes, 10 balls. There's a ball player. Wouldn't you love to be able to know what's going through his mind?
Well, it's not the score, you know that.
You know, I'm not too sure he knows what the score is, but he knows he's seeing some ball players out there. Got his glove, ball, trying to figure something out.
Torrealba.
Nice play.
In time.
That's a beautiful play. He had to go a long way to get that little dribbler. And then he had to throw it like a third baseman. On the run, sidearm, accurately. That's a really nice play.
Boy, Reddick running hard, runs pretty well.
And big league players make those kind of things almost look easy, but that's not.
That is some athleticism out of your catcher.
Everything about that play was hard.
Marco Scutaro struck out looking and grounded to second against Ogando. All the damage in this game on 4 home runs, 2 by Gonzalez, who has 5 in the series, 1 by Ortiz, 1 by Saltalamacchia. 2-run shots in the case of the latter 2. Gonzalez in the 3rd, Saltalamacchia in the 4th. But Scott Feldman has come in and been the bright spot. As the Ranger hitters have been 2 hit by Miller through 6. We'll see if he comes back out for the 7th with Aceves having had plenty of time to get ready.
Yeah, I think, well, I don't know. He's got a pretty good pitch count. No reason why he couldn't. It seemed like possibly Aceves was up in case he ran into some problems in that inning to shut down that inning. But once he closed down that inning himself, unless he's done some kind of a pitch count, you would think he would be back.
There is the first base runner, first base hit against Feldman. And let's go back to our Fox Sports Southwest studio. Tim Matthews has our McDonald's Dollar Drink Game Break.
Hey guys, high school football coverage kicks out tomorrow from 7 till 1 a.m. on the network. Most comprehensive 6 hours of high school football coverage in the state of Texas. We'll have highlights from high school football tonight. Grab an icy cold Coke for only $1 at McDonald's. Now back to Dave and Tommy.
All right, Tim. Top of the order, Jacoby ELLSBURY. It's not been his night so far. A strikeout, a foul out to the catcher, Torrealba, and a grounder to second. And a liner steered by Quintanilla. Out number 2. So after 3 hits, including a homer last night, ELLSBURY 0 for 4. And with 2 outs, Scutaro still at first. Here is Jed Lowry, who has flied to right, walked, and grounded to first as the first man Feldman faced, leading off the 5th inning. Left field, base hit. 1 hopper in front of Hamilton. And with 2 aboard, 2 out. Here again, Adrian Gonzalez. Our Coors Light cold hard blast. Got to take your pick. That one, 411 feet in the first. This one traveled 448 feet. Well back in the visitors' bullpen. Opposite field, 2-run blast in the 3rd.
I got to go with that one as one of the more impressive blasts of the year. Opposite field that far. Well, Scott had him the last time. He made some pitches that he didn't see the first 2 times up. All he saw were 2 fastballs right in the center square the first 2 times up. And Scott worked the ball around, got him to swing and miss at a high cutter, it looked like, in the 5th inning. Let's see if he can get him here with a couple of men on base. Gonzalez has driven in his 101 and 2nd run. 102 RBIs now for him on the season.
4th time in his career he's had 100 RBIs, 07 and 08, and again last year. He has never, however, had a 3-homer game. This is his 13th 2-home run game, his 2nd of this series, but never 3. We've talked all this series about his American League MVP credentials. Counted him up tonight. He is ranked in 19 different categories.
Wow, I didn't know we had 19 categories.
Center field. Gentry turns around, backs up, has room. Nope, not that time, but he still managed to put a charge into it. Another shutout inning. 2 left for Feldman. Stretch time at the ballpark.
Irene, I'm on. Ready?
Well, the answer to our question right there. Andrew Miller is back out for the 7th inning, about to throw his 80th pitch. Michael Young has one of 2 Ranger hits on the night. A leadoff single in the 2nd. He then stole 2nd. Stayed there for a couple of strikeouts and a ground out. Last time up, he flied to right. Center field stays up. And even said ELLSBURY reaching. Bring that one down. One gone to the Rangers 7th. Fox Sports West and the Rangers teaming up with Carter Blood Care for the Great American Give. When you give blood to Carter Blood Care in August, you'll automatically be registered for a chance to win a Fox Sports Southwest VIP experience here at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington. So 6 more days to take advantage of the Great American Give. And strike 1 to Nelly Cruz.
Michael's the one Ranger who's had a good at bat every time up. He had the line drive single, hit a ball solidly in the air to right field, and that ball was hit pretty well to center field.
And the first hit by Cruz after a strikeout and a ground out. Nelly was in a 3 for 25 until right there. So there's the 3rd Ranger hit of the night. Some of Miller's most impressive work has been against Mike Napoli, but Terry Francona is going to come out and with Aceves ready, make the move. It would appear right here, even though he struck out Napoli both times in the 2nd and the 5th. So Andrew Miller with an ERA of almost 5, an opponent average of over 300. Very impressive tonight.
Because I can
defenses. Let's toss it down to Leslie McCaslin.
Well, it's important to have a short-term memory in baseball. We've talked to the Rangers a lot about that this week. But in weeks like this, where the losses keep coming and they can't quite figure things out, Craig Gentry says it's important to focus on the positives.
There's always positive you can take from every game, and that's what we're trying to do. You can't focus on the negative in this game because, I mean, there's, like you said, there's so many negative things that happen. But, yeah, we're just going to try to stay positive and just try to relax and have fun and go out every game and play hard.
One of those positives is coming into tonight's game, 5 straight games with no errors. And again, tonight we've seen some incredible plays by the Rangers on defense. Back to you, Dave.
That is true, Leslie. The Ranger defense has not been any kind of issue at all in this series. Terry Francona ending the night of Andrew Miller after just 83 pitches. It's still his longest outing of the year, 6 1/3. And here is Alfredo Aceves to take on Mike Napoli. Miller struck him out swinging both times up. And for Aceves, Rangers see him for the second time in this series. A scoreless 8th inning on Tuesday night. That curve called a strike by Kerwin Danley. Aceves, 17 strikeouts in his last 15 1/3 innings and a 117 earned run average. That's 2 earned runs since July 26th. It may be Aceves' job the rest of the way. He's got 2 saves this year, both 3 2/3 scoreless innings saved. Only major league pitcher this year who has 2 saves of that length. 11 outs. Napoli went around, says Paul Nauert.
Yeah, looked like he did.
Went around there, and like Josh Hamilton, Mike Napoli's taking a hat trick tonight.
Well, Aceves has a good arm. He's a good middle reliever. His fastball can reach what it just was on that pitch, 95 miles an hour. Great location, up and away. He's also got a good breaking ball, too.
So that brings up Torey Alba, who was grounded to the mound and flied to center. There's that breaking pitch again. Strike 1. So for Miller, 6 1/3, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. He walked 2 through 83 pitches. Longest outing of the year. Bullpen holes. He will improve to 6-1. Right field back a bit is Reddick. Brings it in just in front of the warning track. And Aceves gets the 2 outs to leave CRUZ at first.
A big happening for quite a few residents of Brownwood here at the ballpark. David Tom, time for the progressive back of the game, progressive fan of the game. It has to go to one of the Harris brothers, the Harris family, just about the entire Harris family on hand, along with family and friends. Joe Harris, Les Harris celebrating their birthdays. Joe, of course, number 28, right? Right, and Les, number 27. Joe, you're the oldest one. Congratulations, progressive fan of the game. His dad, Joe Sr., started the Harris Broadband Cable Company in Brownwood, so big wigs, and they're traveling with all their fan club. Anything you'd like to say?
For my birthday, I'd like to have a Josh Hamilton Grand Slam.
There we go. We like that. There we go. Les has got his turn section. Congratulations. Progressive fan of the game. Way to go, Les. Way to go. Good to have you out here. Dave.
Yeah, wouldn't we all? Well,
that can get us right back where we need to be.
That's right. And let's see. Yeah, Josh will have another at bat. Scott Feldman's fine work continues as Dustin Pedroia twice now has bounced back to Feldman. Scott now at 3 to third shutout innings, allowing just 2 hits, both in the 7th by Scutaro and Lowry. David Ortiz homered leading off the 2nd, then grounded to the mound and to first. Feldman at 46 pitches, now 30 strikes. On 3 days rest after throwing almost 90 pitches in going the final 4 2/3 innings of the 10-0 game Sunday at Chicago, the longest relief appearance of his career. And the Rangers tonight hoping he can go 5 after Ogando lasted just 4. Was pelted with a career-high 4 home runs, accounting for all the Boston runs in this game. Solo shots by Ortiz and Gonzalez. 2-run shots by Gonzalez and Saltalamacchia. And the Red Sox needing this win to stay a game up on the Yankees, who had a wild afternoon at Yankee Stadium. First of all, game with the A's delayed for an hour and 27 minutes at the outset by rain. After 3, Oakland 7, New York 1. Ball 4 to Ortiz. First walk issued by Feldman. But the Yankees were just getting started, and they hit 3 grand slams. Russell Martin, Robinson Cano, and Curtis Granderson setting a major league record with 3 grand slams in a single game. And after trailing 7-1, they beat the A's 22-9.
That's a pretty amazing turnaround.
Strike 1 to Crawford. Single and 2 strikeouts. He scored on the Salty homer. Phil Hughes not around to take advantage of all that offense, which started against Rich Harden. Phil Hughes needing 78 pitches just to get 8 outs. Now, the Yankees could have had even more big innings. They had bases loaded 1-out chances in the 2nd and the 5th. Got nothing out of that. There's a lot more coming. So the Red Sox will head home, barring a major Ranger rally here, and still be a game up on New York. And they will start a homestand tomorrow night against the A's. And they have now scheduled a day-night doubleheader on Saturday because Hurricane Irene is expected to arrive in New England on Sunday. Ground ball for Andrews. Steps on the bag. In time for 2. Carl Crawford, as difficult a player in baseball as there is to double up, but Elvis did Matchup for tomorrow as the Angels series begins at 7 o'clock here on Fox Sports Southwest. It'll be Dan Herron at 13-6 against Eric Holland at 11-5. And you will want to be either here at the ballpark or with us for that series, which gets underway tomorrow night. And it will appear that the Rangers will enter that 3-game series with a 2-game lead as they can erupt here in the last 2 innings against the Cetus and the Boston bullpen. Gentry, one of 2 walks and 6 into third by Miller, and grounded to short. And Mike Scioscia was toying with the idea of starting Ervin Santana and Jared Weaver in the 2nd and 3rd games of this series, both on short rest. Neither has ever started on short rest in their entire careers.
Well, yesterday they were listed as the starters. Today it's to be announced. So I guess they're trying to decide.
Well, he left it very undecided after their game last night. Santana pitched on Tuesday through 115 pitches. Jared Weaver was pulled last night after fewer than 100 as Mike Adams now begins to loosen. So the relatively early exit by Weaver and an 8-0 win, leaving open that possibility that he might come back for game 3 of the series on Sunday. So we'll just have to wait and see. But for the Rangers, Holland goes tomorrow, C.J. Wilson Saturday, and Colby Lewis on Sunday. David Murphy out on deck to pinch hit for Quintanilla. Gentry skies one. Reddick in his tracks. Couple steps to his left. So here is David Murphy. Quintanilla was 0 for 2. Tom, maybe the very best thing for the Rangers, the way these last 3 games of the Red Sox series have gone, is to dive right back into a key series tomorrow against their top rivals in the division.
Well, I guess we'll find out. And what the Rangers need to do is pretty obvious. They have to start swinging the bats, and they have to get the starting pitching back to where it normally is. Well, Derek comes out and sets the pace, sets the tone with a good start tomorrow. The Rangers get a couple of key hits to win a ball game. That could be exactly what you're looking for, start of a nice winning streak. And it couldn't happen at a better time. Rangers went into Anaheim and won 3 straight. Need to have a good series against them starting tomorrow for sure.
The Angels will come here. In fact, they're already here, no doubt, with a 6-game winning streak, 3 walk-off wins in that streak before the 8-0 win yesterday over Chicago, sweeping that brief 2-game set. And they are 71-59. Rangers in danger of falling to 74-58, not long after being 20 games over 500. But also not long after coming within 3 outs of a 4-game sweep, the last road trip in Angel Stadium. So they built up a lot of confidence, and there will be zero dwelling on what's happened to this series. Well, not too many questions even after this game about it. There were already a lot of questions before the game about the Angels.
I hit the umpire right in the right foot.
Kerwin Danley will get time to walk that one off.
That pitch is so far away from the target. That ball had to be 3 feet to our left of Saltalamakia's target. Got Kerwin Danley right in the foot. I'll tell you, they've got steel plated shoes on, but he's still shaking that foot, trying to get some feeling back in it.
Missed that padding, at least deflected by Salty's mitt a little bit. So the 3-2 pitch
Jeez. He retired the first 3, 1 on a strikeout, and then didn't come close with those 2 pitches.
So Aceves allowing his first base runner. 3rd walk by Boston pitching tonight. Back to the top of the order. And Kinsler, who walked his last time up. Before that, an infield hit and a grounder to short. So we leaving this series with his hitting streak against Boston intact and stretched to 15 games.
Yeah, Aceves is really the definition of a long reliever. He's been in 41 games. He's pitched 85 innings. That's a lot of innings for a relief pitcher.
Saltalamacchia out for a word as he misses badly again.
Angels had a reliever for 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years, Scott Shields. And Mike Scioscia could use him early for a long time, late for a short time. He could pitch 70, 75 games. He could give you 80 to 100 innings. He did that for a long time. And one of those rubber arms. And he was top of the line bullpen guy for a long time for the Angels. Those kind of guys are so valuable. They're hard to find, though. Not many guys have an arm that could withstand that kind of work.
First 22 pitches by Alfredo Aceves tonight. 11 strikes and 11 balls. Strikeout, 2 flies to right, a walk, and another one that is nowhere near where he wanted it. And Murphy will take second on the wild pitch.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with Aceves. But man, when he's missing, he is missing.
Well, 2-1 for Kinsler. Andrews on deck.
He's doing some serious sweating, boy. The sweat is dripping off the bill of his cap. And it's not just dripping, it's pouring off of there.
I don't know what his problem is. It's only 96 degrees. It's a lot cooler than what it started. 101. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
I think the player that sweat the most that I can remember was Jim Bibby. When Jim Bibby would reach the 6th, 7th inning of a game and he came off the mound, you could hear the water in his shoes from the sweat that had dripped down his legs. His spikes were completely sweat through, let alone the hat. I might have to send in for a new hat. That's got to be distracting to see those drops pouring down in front of you.
It took Jim Bibby that long to get that swing. My memory is like after the 2nd or 3rd pitch he threw, he was kind of
it wasn't quite that quick, but by the time he got into the game, he was definitely sweating.
Aceves from Sonora, Mexico. 29-year-old. Trying to complete the work started by Andrew Miller in his longest outing of the year. 6 of the 3rd innings, a 3-hit shutout ball. Baltimore has beaten Minnesota 6-1.
Boy, how about the nosedive Minnesota's taken? They're 20 games below 500. Last time the Rangers played the Twins, they were playing pretty well. In fact, they were entertaining some kind of thoughts of maybe playing their way back into a race. And it's gone downhill since then.
Their 5th straight loss. Sweep for Baltimore, their 4th straight win. Reyes over Swarzak. Mark Reynolds hit his 29th home run.
It just goes to show you how quickly things can turn around. There was a stretch where the Orioles were getting blasted every single day. Look at trying to get that water off his hat. getting blasted every day. Looked like they'd never win another game. Now they go into Minnesota, and they're on a 4-game winning streak.
Minnesota.
It's never as bad as it seems, and it's probably never as good as it seems. It's always somewhere in between. You get on a winning streak and you feel like it's never going to end. You feel like you're just going to coast to the finish line. Then you get on a losing streak and you wonder how are we ever going to win a game? How can all this be going wrong?
Boy, Kinsler knew that one. Knee buckling curve, strike 3.
It's not. I wouldn't have a great time facing Aceves right now. He's throwing 93 to 95 miles an hour. Fastballs all over the place. And then he drops a curveball in there on the inside part of the plate for strike 3. You just kind of shake your head and say, okay, not much you can do with that.
So 2 outs with Murphy at second. Here is Andrews, who was fly to right, grounded into a double play and into a fielder's choice. 1 for his last 22. Yeah, Minnesota started 17-37, clawed their way back within 7 games, and they are again 20 games under 500 now, 55-75. Detroit won today 2-0. They are 16 back. Sinking fast. Just a game and a half now out of last place, ahead of Kansas City, which isn't exactly charging. They're 4th in the last 11. 9-6 at Toronto. Jays scored 2 in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But, Kansas City had gotten too big a lead against Brett Cecil, who falls to 4-7. Jeff Francis to win 5-14. The Tigers shut out 2-0 at Tampa Bay. Doug Fister getting the win over Jeremy Hellickson. Austin Jackson had a leadoff home run. And 2-1 to Elvis. So limited schedule today around the American League. The only other game was that crazy one in New York, in which the Yankees got 4 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th, 6 in the 7th, and 6 more in the 8th with that all-time record 3 grand slam attack. Right field hit pretty well. Reddick, though, backs up onto the track and brings it in. And through 8 now, the Rangers still shut out on 3 hits.
So the jury has rendered
nights in your community. If you'd like to learn more about Chevy Youth Baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. Well, after 4 outstanding innings of relief work by Scott Feldman, Mike Adams comes on and will work the 9th inning. Feldman allowing just 2 hits, struck out 3, walked 1. And now here is Adams, working for the first time since his perfect 8th inning on Monday. He has retired 6 straight, 4 on strikeouts. The Ranger now almost a month. Came over deadline day, July 31st, from the Padres. And his first pitch grounded up the middle for a base hit by Saltalamacchia. 2-hit night, including his 2-run homer back in the 4th.
Well, you see Michael Young playing third base right now. Something must have happened to Quintanilla, because when you're getting a half a day off by DHing, Ron Washington is not going to put you in to play third base in this game. Wouldn't have pinch hit for Quintanilla with David Murphy unless something had happened to Quintanilla. Must have some type of an injury.
First pitch to Reddick, swung on, popped up. Andrews under it. So it would have been just to get Murphy in at bat.
I don't think so. I mean, it'd be nice to get Murphy in at bat, but I wouldn't think you'd put Michael Young at third base. But, you know, Michael play anytime you want him to. It's no big deal to him. And he's had most of the day off. So, I mean, that could be just to get David in at bat for Michael to go into third. But a little bit unusual.
Well, Red Sox swinging away here against Adams. Here's Scudero. Struck out, grounded out against Ogando, and singled against Feldman. 8th batter Scott faced, and the first one to reach. Now, do you think Feldman showed enough that next time we see him maybe in a spot start?
Well, I don't know that it has anything to do with how well Scott pitches. It's a matter of whether or not the Rangers decide they want to utilize that opportunity with one of the starting pitchers, or whether you want to stay in rotation. But I think Scott has pitched well enough. His numbers weren't that great in Chicago. He ended up 4 1/3, 4 2/3, gave up 5 runs. But he threw the ball well. I thought he threw too many curveballs, but I thought tonight he threw really well. So he's certainly an option if they want to do that. I think you have to feel really good about Scott going out there and starting a ball game. He's throwing the ball well right now. And I think it's just a matter of that's something they choose to do.
Well, it has been tossed around a bit with the recent struggles of Matt Harrison. This was the Scott Feldman of 2 years ago for 4 innings anyway. This was his 17-win form. Line drive right to Elvis. Scudero out number 2.
Well, the biggest thing right now is Scott's healthy. It took him a long time to get there, a lot of rehab to get there. But it was his right leg. And that's the leg that you push off of, and pretty hard to have the power and have the sinker and have the same type of stuff with that kind of an injury that you have now. So the biggest difference right now is he's healthy like he was then, and it stands to reason that he'd be throwing the ball like he did then with that healthy right knee.
Here's Ellsbury, 0 for 4 tonight. Nothing out of the infield. That went into the Rangers dugout. Welcome change after Ellsbury's 3-hit last night performance with a homer and 4 for 9 in his first 2 appearances in this series. 7-game hit streak he has yet to extend tonight. Dustin Pedroia also did no damage. 0 for 4. Strikeout, 3 groundouts. And 0-2 now to Ellsbury with 2 outs. Saltalamacchia at first. The damage from Adrian Gonzalez, his second 2-homer game of the series. Solo blast in the first, 2-run shot in the third. Ortiz, a solo homer in the second, and Saltalamacchia a 2-run home run in the 4th inning, and the Sox have not scored since then. They have only 3 singles since then. And the rest of the story was the pitching of their starter, their 6th starter, Andrew Miller, who had easily his best outing with Boston. 6 1/3 shutout innings, allowing just 3 singles, 1 an infield hit, with 6 strikeouts and a couple of walks. Adams strikes out Ellsbury, leaves Salty at first. To the bottom of the 9th, Hamilton, Young, and Cruz are due up. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout days. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the Ford F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. Dan Wheeler on to work the 9th inning for the Red Sox. Trying to close out a series that began very badly for them Monday night. Shut out 4-0 by C.J. Wilson and 3 relievers. But follow that by winning 11-5 on Tuesday, 13-2 last night, up 6-0 here. Wheeler comes on for Hamilton, Young, and Cruz. Rangers saw Wheeler on Tuesday. Worked the 9th inning. Gave up a 2-run home run to Ian Kinsler. That ball that just slipped over the inner wall and kind of fooled Carl Crawford out in left field. It was still visible as it trickled down the out-of-town scoreboard. Josh Hamilton struck out all 3 times he faced Andrew Miller.
Josh, timing's just not there tonight. He's missing fastballs like that. Just a little bit out of whack.
Josh 0 for 2 last night. But has never had more than 2 straight hitless games this year, so history says he will bounce back against Heron and the Angels tomorrow night. Again, that series getting underway here at the ballpark at 7 o'clock. Join us either here on Fox Sports Southwest or in person. That one hit pretty well, but right to Reddick out in right field. Let's see what John Radigan has in store for us.
Yeah, Dave, sitting down here on the Rangers live set, and perhaps it's not surprising that some of the fans are leaving early from this one. As they walk by, they don't seem too devastated by what transpired the last 3 games. But on Rangers Live, let's find out what Ron Washington feels about it, what the players think about it. Let's hear what Steve Busby thinks about it. That's what we'll attempt to do during the 30 minutes or so after the game. Rangers Live immediately following this one, guys.
And Dave, the information we get is there's no injury for Quintanilla. That was just a situation where Ron Washington was trying to get a rally started. Felt like David Murphy would have a better chance hitting in that situation. And that was the reason for the pinch hit and the reason that Michael obviously had to go out to third base. But it was only for an inning, so it's not like you wasted the partial off night that he got by DHing. And Ron was just trying to do whatever he could to get a rally started, putting David Murphy up there.
Curve drops in. It's 1-2 to Michael. Who lined a single off the glove of Pedroia, leading off the second. In what was at the time a 2-0 game. Stole second. Since then, he's flied to right line to center. Limited schedule in the National League as well. St. Louis leading the Pirates 5-4, top of the 8th at Busch Stadium. Houston got a run in the first out at San Francisco. 1-0, top of the 3rd. Atlanta beat Chicago this afternoon 8-3 at Wrigley Field. And Arizona over Washington 8-1. Rangers 2 outs away from being shut out for the 7th time this year. That one will slice back foul, and still 1-2. And for a little perspective, when the Rangers started their last road trip, which will be 2 weeks ago tomorrow, they led the Angels by 2 games. So they'll be right where they were. Young strikes out. Rangers down to their last out. Just too much Red Sox offense after the Monday shutout. The last 3 nights, 30 runs, 39 hits. And last chance for the Rangers is CRUZ, who has struck out, grounded to third, and singled.